like?
Hello, and welcome to Level Up CX, where we discuss the biggest trends and challenges facing customer experience. I'm Marissa Benro from Genesis, and today I'm joined by Caleb Stunkert, CEO of Lighthouse Florida. We'll explore how Lighthouse is using cloud technology not only to modernize its operations, but to expand its mission, accelerate digital transformation, and set a new global standard for inclusive customer experience. Caleb, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for agreeing. All right, Caleb. So to start us off, can you briefly tell us about Lighthouse and your truly unique mission and your role?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate enough to be president and CEO of Lighthouse Works. It's a social enterprise that we started in 2011. And the mission is basically empowerment through employment for folks who are blind or visually impaired. And so we are really through employment trying to remove or empower folks to live beyond the restrictions of vision loss and blindness. And one of our how it relates to Genesis is one of our most successful lines of business where the majority of our employees are blind or visually impaired is a contact center.
That's awesome. And what was the business case that convinced Lighthouse that moving to the cloud was the right strategic choice for your business? All right, you feel great.
So, as you can imagine, starting a contact center in 2011 like we did, we didn't have any past performance. And so we really took a while to find our way, but we started to build a customer base. And one of those customers, believe it or not, was unemployment for the state of Florida. And this is pre-pandemic, probably 2017, 2018. We obviously had no idea 2020 was coming. And so 2020 shows up, it's March. I think it was March 18th.
To be exact.
Yeah, and it was that time period where we really didn't know, what was going to happen. But very quickly, hospitality shut down, unemployment spiked. Our customer at that time reached out to us and said, you all have trainers. We need as many people on the phones as you could provide and get on the phones. And they, by the way, were on an on-premise solution. And so we both together tried to rapidly scale. It became apparent pretty much during that time that we needed to shift to an enterprise platform that was cloud-based. To give you an idea of the frame of reference, we were less than 100 employees pre-pandemic, and then over that next couple of years scaled up to 600. Wow. I think a little north of 600. And so that was kind of, for us, obviously, a pretty intense, rapid scale.
Yeah.
And we actually migrated to Genesis during that time. And so it was obviously hectic, but absolutely necessary. And I'll tell you, from the time that we selected Genesis as the platform, I think we were converted in about 45 days.
Wow. And I bet, again, in 2020, that was just instrumental to be able to get up and running that fast.
It was. And for us, the customer allowed, the work to be done from home. And as you can imagine, if you're somebody who's blind or visually impaired, transportation is a significant barrier. If you are traveling, to a workplace, you're typically taking some type of shared ride service, but those services just take several hours in the morning, several hours in the evening. And so we were able to unlock a lot of remote work. We started to do nationwide recruiting for individuals who are blind or visually impaired. We were mailing out equipment to them. And if you're curious, if you're somebody who's totally blind using a workstation and taking calls, you're using a screen reader, which is reading to you what's on the screen. That's in one ear.
Yeah.
You have the customer in your other ear. You're listening to both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And sort of trying to split, and listen to both. And then you're communicating with them and typing all at the same time.
Yeah. It blows my mind. It sounds like so much information to process. And that's really impressive. So how has moving to the cloud reshaped your overall strategy and growth trajectory as a business?
So for us, pre-pandemic, we were about 8 customers. After migrating to Genesis, we've doubled that. We're 16 customers now. I mentioned before, it's been our most successful business line, highly labor intensive, but we really needed a partner in Genesis that could provide a scalable platform, reliable. But a big piece of it for us is we wanted to be able to innovate on top of the platform.
Yeah.
And so that was really what impressed us sort of in the sales process is we gave them our unique use case. We said, hey, we have agents that are blind and visually impaired. we want to build our own user interface. We want to make it audio enabled. We want to whisper to agents, audio cues of what campaigns, their calls are coming in on, and all these sort of. And they didn't bat an eye. They didn't blink. They said, we have APIs. You can build off of those APIs just as we do. And so through that, we built our own agent interface. It doesn't look like the Genesis interface. It's simplified. It's built for our agents, audio enabled. It's called Equivista. It's now on App Foundry. And so it's just been an awesome journey for us. And we also knew that the growth in the contact center space was going to be built on innovation and AI. And we wanted a platform, a provider that was keeping pace with that level of evolution, and that we could partner with to build on top of it. We didn't look at, and still don't look at, something like AI as something that's destroying jobs. We look at it as, augmenting our agents and their capabilities, and then also, handling through self-service the entry level tiers that, frankly, you have to keep in mind. Our agents come from all walks of life. Many of them have advanced degrees. They've owned and operated their own businesses. They don't want to do password resets either, right? So having AI assist and those areas, and then augment sort of through agent assist the more advanced tasks that they're involved in, is a win-win. And so for us, it was just a matter of finding a platform that we could partner with to enable us to do that.
Right. And, in our previous conversation, you mentioned what it's also unlocked for your employee experience and your retention of employees, but also how that's translated into business value and the revenue and retention of your customers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, our agent retention is 90%, which in the contact center industry is tough. That's tough to get to. So we're proud of that. We're also proud, though, of our customer retention. We haven't lost a customer in over 8 years. And the two big customers through the pandemic that I was mentioning that we were supporting actually also converted after us to Genesis Cloud. And so they're
Love to hear it.
yeah. And so I think that's just a testament to they looked at our experience, watched how we successfully deployed it, how seamless it was. And so they each of them, like I said, embarked on their own, implementation journeys, and are now both on Genesis Cloud as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you for the referral. So what advice would you give other, organizations who are maybe hesitant or have unique use cases for leveraging the cloud?
So I think number one is to just accept that there's never a great time to take on, a big system implementation, a migration. I think you just have to accept that, because if you're kind of trying to time it out, that's a tough place to be. And I think the longer you wait, sometimes the harder it gets. I think the other piece too is just like any other customer, had invested a lot in our previous solution. We had a lot of customization that we were invested in, but we had to kind of take a step back and say, where is the industry headed? Where's the innovation headed? Where is the software development headed? We don't want to be left behind. We need to get on this platform in order for us to build into the future. And I'm so thankful that back then, we made that transition, because you fast forward just a couple years, and in technology, you're leaping forward. And so without having Genesis in place, we wouldn't be having the conversations about enhancing self-service or, workforce engagement experience. We're doing automated, QAs, all sorts of, AI-powered innovation that wouldn't have been possible. And so just imagine if we would have said back then, now's not the right time. We're in the middle of, this pandemic, and we're scaling, we need to save this at another time. It would just have put us further behind. And so that's my number one advice, is just always make sure you're not incurring technical debt because you're waiting for an ideal time frame, because you're really doing yourself a disservice.
That is really great advice. And it kind of made me think of another question: is what is next on the horizon for you in Lighthouse in terms of, CX technology, and how do you want to build on Genesis, and what's next for your organization there?
Yeah. So I always say kind of world domination, but our goal behind kind of, for us, every strategic goal, every chart, every number, there's a story, and there's somebody who is now gainfully employed and is contributing to our economy rather than relying on it. And so for us, growth isn't growth for growth's sake. It's empowerment for individuals who are blind, visually impaired. And so we have set some pretty ambitious growth goals over the next 5 years. And a large part of that is in the contact center. And so it's acquiring more customers. We want to get to where we're not at 1,000 agents today. We want to get to and surpass 1,000 agents on the platform, which is, like I said, small in the grand scheme of things, but for us, a little means a lot, and it means a whole lot to the folks that are relying on us, the folks we serve.
Absolutely. And I mean, from 100 agents to 600 agents in 5 years, that's no small feat. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, Caleb, thank you so much for joining us and today and sharing your expertise. I know that our customers and everyone listening in has gotten so much value from it. So we really appreciate you joining Level Up CX Live. And for more on today's topic, click the link in the comments and download. And again, be sure to follow Genesis on LinkedIn to get notified for the next Level Up CX Live episode and for more on, all things customer experience. So thank you, Caleb.
Thank you.